fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
I'm Mr. Goodnight, the man of the hour, the tower of power, and too sweet to be sour. Into this next year that we are in at this point right here.
We're back.
I thought there was more rap, but
Well, I didn't know when this would air, so
We've had a couple of episodes air already in 2017, but this is our in real time. This is our first time back in Disgraceland.
yeah,
since 2016.
through Libsyn we create an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
So really, a lot of the installments that you'd heard before have been recorded before 2016. So this is our first technical 2017 show.
Episode, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the three of us for this episode.
just
and
the three of us. But we can make it if we try.
Oh, and we're gonna try. So I guess we'll start with Pat because I haven't seen you since you picked me up at the airport right after Christmas.
Yeah.
But, how was your holiday?
Uneventful. So we should get it out top. Mine because I have the most uneventful holiday and really the most uneventful existence, I think, of anyone here. But mine was okay. I went down to Florida for the holiday season. It was Florida. You know, what can you say?
Yeah.
I only managed to make it to Applebee's twice. So
two
that's
times.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of less than the normal par for that neck of the woods. You know, usually.
Was it a pasta fest?
No, it wasn't. I don't know. I think it was endless appetizers as always, and boy, were some of them weird.
Yeah.
Some of them were very strange looking. But I
Did you get the fishbowl full of blue hooch?
yeah, there was one. There were like fish pieces that were like all breading, and like these egg rolls that were deep fried. So they had like Kentucky Fried Chicken batter. It looked like on the outside.
Ooh, interesting.
And I don't know if that was actually designed that way or if it actually was just something that the person didn't know how to work a deep fryer.
I don't know, that egg
I
roll.
didn't eat it. So
That's the first thing that's made me curious to go to Applebee's in many, many years. Because
Yeah.
I did not know they had country fried egg roll.
yeah, sadly, I didn't make it to the places that I should have. Like I didn't go to Waffle House, which I
We did.
thoroughly regret and will always regret. Even though I think my Wahoo that's nearest to where my parents live is on its last legs. I think it might be knocked down, which I don't ever see that.
Has that ever happened?
I don't think so. That's the thing that blew my mind because the thing was that there's it was in front of, so in this kind of parking lot, it's my friend's car shop. Shout out to Cruise and Gold.
All right.
If you want to, it's definitely, it's funny because it used to be the place where you could get like really cheap rims and stuff like that, and like neon like lights that you would duct tape onto your.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but my friend bought it and they classed it up quite a bit. So they actually you actually bring, and you can bring in your car that's not a 1992 Honda Civic that you want to pimp out to Cruise and Gold and get it worked on. But shout outs to them. There was the Wahoo, and there's this place called County Line, which was like the nastiest honky tonk ever. We used to call it County Slime.
Okay.
It was real rough. On average, probably about 2 or 3 stabbings every night there.
All right.
So they knocked down County Line, and they're putting a big like hotel restaurant there. Which they say hotel restaurant. It's probably going to be a Shoney's with a red roof.
Okay.
Based on that area.
To be fair, there might be fewer stabbings.
Yeah, they're just maybe one on average, but they
on
might
Friday on seafood buffet night.
but they might have to knock down the Wahoo to finish up the whole area. So I'm kind of sad that I didn't go to Wahoo, but I made it to Applebee's. Only made it twice. Didn't make it to karaoke because in the karaoke at the Applebee's is the thing.
Is it when it turns into Club Apple?
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know
yeah.
about this?
Club Apple, baby.
Have I talked about that? There's like
Y'all go to Applebee's a lot more than I do.
Well,
if you're
don't. I just found out because I was at a wedding in Marietta, Georgia, and there was
Marietta, more like Scarietta. Who's with me?
and there was
Who's with me?
there was an Applebee's in the parking lot of our hotel, and my friend Chandler would not shut up about Club Apple, and finally I was like, all right, what's Club Apple? He's like, select Applebee's locations, just not all of them, just some, turn into Club Apple at like 11 o'clock. So they shut all the restaurant off and have a special late night menu, and then just turn into a bar.
Yeah.
For like underserved areas that don't have
Is
a
it
bar.
hard to get in? Is it like Studio 54 and people waiting outside to get in Club Apple?
Yeah, they have a dress code. You have to wear a corn T-shirt to get in. But no, this one has karaoke, which is amazing. If you want to see juggalos doing their versions of Montel Jordan's "This Is How We Do It,"
Oh man.
go for it. That's where you go. But yeah, it was pretty uneventful. The big thing that happened was we went to my dad's farm. My dad retired after many years working as a engineer. Now he's a farmhand. So he's working as a farmhand.
So, wait, he's just a hand. He doesn't own the farm.
He's a hand, yeah.
Wow,
He's a
okay.
hand, yeah. It's a tropical fish farm where they cultivate and breed tropical fish for pet stores and private buyers and all that sort of thing.
Seems very lucrative.
Yeah, and it actually is.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
in Florida, like that, like those like lionfish or whatever. You know,
Yeah. I mean, these are like
thousands of
Yeah, these
dollars
are
for-
freshwater fish, but some of them are insane. Like they have these like giant angelfish and things like that.
Wow.
And the thing that was cool about it is that the guy who's the other person that's the more full-time hand there, he is one of those kind of soft heart for animals kind of guys.
Okay.
So there was tons of rescue animals there.
Oh,
so
all right.
there was a couple of cows, there was sheep, there was alpacas,
Ooh.
there was pygmy goats.
Oh,
and
man.
yeah, and it was cool. We got to pet some goats, pet some sheep.
Tropical fish farm and petting zoo.
I know, yeah. The alpacas were pretty mean. They just hung out by the riding lawnmower all the time and like hiss at any like people that walked by that wanted to pet them. But that was actually really fun.
Do alpacas spit like llamas do?
I think they probably do. I would
Yeah,
imagine
they're
that
very
they do.
closely
Isn't
related.
they all camels and camels spit?
Yeah, except like they're essentially llamas with better hairdos.
Oh, okay,
more
yeah.
stylish hairdos.
Right.
They
More
have the
salon
camel
quality.
toes, though.
Yeah, they got more salon quality hair. Like, and there was like a little sheepdog that would herd us around and take us to all the animals. But if we pet the animals, the dog would like swat at the animals to get us to pet him. You know, it was very idyllic. So there was somebody that actually texted us, listener. Shout out to Steve, and he liked the obscure Florida town references. He mentioned Mims. Me to bring up Mims.
Mims?
This wasn't in Mims. Mims is the way Mims got its name is that it's actually an acronym for Mom is My Sister. It's one of those towns.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those places where every point of reference to where someone lives is the junkyard. Where it's just like, it's just like, yeah, I live up Old Dixie Highway a couple of blocks
North of the junkyard.
north of the junkyard, which is great because it used to be Old Dixie Highway and now it's Barack Obama Highway, which is awesome.
Wow.
I love that.
It's still north of the junkyard.
It's still north of the junkyard. It hasn't been renamed the Joe Biden junkyard or something, which I think would be fitting because Joe probably loves going to the junkyard and finding new little parts to add to his Trans Am or something like that.
Yeah.
So the other one he mentioned was Valkyria Grant, and the fish farm is near Valkyria Grant, Steve. It's actually in Fellsmere, which we used to call Flemsmere.
What? Because it was a tuberculosis camp.
Probably, yeah. It's small. It's pretty phlegmy. It's where they had Mesa Park, where if like there was a demolition derby or a tractor pull or Eddie Money was performing, that's where it always happened. Was at Mesa Park. You know,
They have fun there.
yeah, they have fun in Flemsmere. And we went to a restaurant and had a fantastic meal of Florida cracker food.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is really interesting. It's like a weird derivation of Southern food that's like swamp food, essentially. Like Florida crackers. It's not like so. they're like, like Georgia and Florida, there is that sort of thing where they adopt the cracker as like kind of being the local sort of thing, like swamp people, and cracker being, based on the term. If you go to a Irish bar, they have like Craig written everywhere because they just want to overplay the Irish thing. That's pronounced crack, and that's where you get the term cracker from. It means a bullshitter or a braggart. Essentially.
Our friend Mike McCall in Birmingham, his club is his comedy club that he's got in the back. There's an Irish bar called Buck Mulligan's.
Buck Mulligan's?
Buck Mulligan's.
I thought you said butt mulligan.
No,
a butt mulligan is when you think you have to take a dump, but it doesn't work, so you just take a mulligan and
do over.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, their comedy situation in the back of Butt Fuckigans is called the Crek. So
it's
that's
spelled all funny and foreign.
It's spelled Craig, but but that's how the term cracker comes from. So it's just like all these it's swamp people essentially. The people that moved to Florida, the white people that moved to Florida before air conditioning and before retirement. Just those folks. And so Florida cracker food is essentially all your southern delights, your greens, the sides are basically the same.
Right.
But the meats are swamp meats generally.
Okay.
So a lot of catfish out the yin yang, alligator tail, and frog legs.
Rodents of unusual size.
Yeah, rodents of unusual size, maybe rattlesnake, stuff that you find in a swamp. And you fry it up because that's what you do, and and it's great, man. I sent Rivers the picture of the spread. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, and my the desserts were so good. Like, it was just one of those ones where it's those restaurants where you're like, yeah, give me a slice of pie, and they give you like a fourth of a pie.
Yeah. And
it's like just super rich and super. I mean, I got like a cobbler that was in a bowl the size of a friggin' hubcap. Ooh. Like, yeah, and it was awesome. But it was like one of those things where we're in this kind of bubble, like living in LA, and this was an opportunity for me to go outside the bubble because it was like, at first, like, you kind of give off, you go to this restaurant, it kind of gives off that vibe to a degree of like an Easy Rider when they go into the restaurant, and it's just like, the three of them, and it's Captain America,
gorilla love-in.
Yeah, exactly. Just drunk. I felt like a drunk Jack Nicholson in a football helmet. But yeah, it was one of those restaurants. You kind of get that vibe, like, and that's something you don't get around here so much. And it's kind of. But the food was great, and the people there were nice. Until I felt a little bit of static when I said Happy Holidays. Like, it was one of those places where I say, "Hey, Happy Holidays," and it was just like the record scratches.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, and I kind of scurried out as fast as I possibly could because
we celebrate Saturnalia here.
Yeah, we celebrate. There's a war here.
Oh, goodness, sir.
We're coming in here with our esoteric holidays, no, but there's it was really good, man. The food was fantastic.
Just don't drive out of there on a motorcycle, because if you see a pickup truck coming, you gun that thing.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. It's actually funny because on the show Fishing with John, have you guys ever watched Fishing with John? It's a show that John Lurie, the guy from the every Jim Jarmusch early movie.
Oh, you told us about this.
Yeah. And they had an episode where Dennis Hopper, they took Dennis Hopper to Thailand to go fishing, and Dennis Hopper's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, the guy, for some reason, he's like deathly afraid of having ice in his drinks. He did drink like 30 Diet Cokes a day. Like, he was just, completely bonkers. And he would just say these weird things. And the one that always came out in that I remember was him just going like, I've been thinking about doing Easy Rider 2. Because it's not clear that my character dies. It's not clear. You just see the explosion. So I'm thinking that I'm going to bring it back, And he's just like, has that like kind of psycho glint in his eyes.
He comes back in the second movie and he's like RoboCop.
I know, exactly. Except he's like 50. He grows like I just imagine him. He still has like the mustache, but he's like a bald eagle mullet, and he's just like, I'm back. good. You know, it was very low key, very easy for time to pass there because we had like plans to do stuff like day trips. And it's just like, it's tough because you got to do Christmas stuff. You got to see people. You got to run to Bass Pro Shop to finish up the Christmas shopping. Our Bass Pro Shop in Palm Bay has alligators in front of it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, which is and a big grouper tank. It's just like, oh my god, it's insane. And just people, a lot of neck tattoos. A lot of people where a neck tattoo is a requirement for a job. It's not like something that would keep you from getting a job. But it was a good time. I mean, I haven't had much really going on. I mean, it's been very uneventful, and I figured that we would get me out of the way early on because y'all had the Yellowhammered and all that sort of thing, and I think that there's probably more action going on where you were at.
There's always action going on.
And satisfaction, if you will.
Because satisfaction is a result of that action, and indigestion is out of the question. You understand?
Yeah, I went home on the 18th, and my aunts, who I haven't seen in forever, came to visit. And my aunt Andrea, my aunt Laura were in town, and my uncle Jim came down too. So we had a nice little family get together for the first time in forever because now they're all grandparents. So you know, and I was the youngest cousin. So before they became grandparents, they'd come see me. But you know, now they hang out with their kids and their kids' kids. So they came down just to hang out. And one day we went to Montgomery. Because I wanted to go eat at my favorite restaurant in that whole area called Central. And I think I sent you a picture of I got the open-faced turkey gravy sandwich with bacon and like a really fresh tomato on top called a hot brown sandwich. And it was insanity. But we went to the movies and went to see that movie Manchester by the Sea.
Okay.
Which is like... You know, I was watching it in the way I felt the way I felt in watching that movie Black Mass, where I was like, oh, like Black Mass was made by Martin Scorsese's biggest fan, and this movie was kind of made by Alexander Payne's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Is
Sideways.
Black Mass a Whitey Bulger movie?
Yeah.
Also, okay, so I haven't seen this movie, but let me guess what it's about. It's about working class Boston, and they're working hard. They're working hard, and then there's a storm, and they can't get the fish in, but they're working hard.
Yeah.
Is this the point of the movie?
Well, Black Mass,
Black
Mass. A lot of people say it's the Whitey Bulger movie. I think it's the greatest cinematic tribute to members only jackets I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, you know, the clothes there was always years behind the time. Yeah. He probably got them at Jonesy's up on Broadway or something.
Well, I mean, if you want to be, I mean, it's ironed out. If you really want to be evil. If you really want to be evil, you got to wear a members only jacket, you know. Ahmadinejad wore members only.
Gaddafi was pretty damn big on him.
Gaddafi?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, looking back in the day, he had a lot of
Saddam
good
Hussein loved his members only jackets, you know.
I always thought Saddam was a pretty good dresser, considering.
Gaddafi was too.
Yeah, they were.
Gaddafi was a bit much for my taste. Like he was trying really hard to do the Ric Flair act.
I don't know when he had the necklace that was made out of a picture frame of himself. I mean, that was pretty fucking sweet. That was one of his great pieces.
Yeah.
But we went and saw this movie, and the movie is like, it was fine, but it just had...
Did they work hard?
No. Well, I guess they were kind of working hard on a fishing boat.
That's working hard.
Working hard on an emotional level.
They really
were. A lot of loss.
It was like a parody of an Oscar bait film. So it was fine, but I was just sitting there. I was already kind of despondent with the movie, but then this happened. We were sitting there watching the movie, and these two women sitting behind us one of the women had been talking to the other one the whole movie because she'd clearly seen it, and this was like the third friend she dragged to come see the movie, so she knew all the plot points. So she was just explaining what was about to happen to her friend the whole fucking movie, and it would have been annoying except that she was doing it in the craziest Southern accent. So we were just sitting there watching the movie, and I swear to God, she turns to her friend and goes, "He's emotionally shut off right now." but there's a twist coming. That's what she said. She said he's emotionally shut off right now, but there's a twist coming. I bit my finger and like I had to walk outside, and I just busted up laughing. and it fucking ruined the rest of the movie because the whole movie is mostly just Casey Affleck just looking bummed out and staring off into the water.
Yeah,
that's what people do in parts of Massachusetts.
They just stare off into the ocean.
Stare off in the ocean and wait for the next Patriots game.
Yeah, that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah, it's nice to
realistic.
see. It's nice to see that Oscar bait has advanced because, as my good buddy Gabe Rossman would always say, is that Oscar bait used to mean Sean Penn looking into the camera, looking constipated. That was like the key to every. You know,
he used to punch some cameramen out too. Remember
shout out to @Gabriel Rossman on Twitter.
But yeah, then after that, I was just like, Ebert's dead, Siskel's dead. Let's get a new star in the critic world. Let's get this woman on Entertainment Tonight. Just be like, just review every fucking movie from here on.
I wanted to do it in that whisper too.
Well, that's what I mean. Just like, hey y'all, Mufasa's dead, but Simba's gonna come back and be the king. You know what I mean? Just have her. Just fucking. He said Rosebud when he died, but we don't know why.
It looks like they're on another planet, but it's Earth, and the apes are in the future.
You think he's just delivering pizza, but they're gonna fuck. She can do porns too.
She has a good voice for it.
Oh man, it was magic.
Turns me on. Just
Bruce Willis has been dead the entire time, but all the rest of this dude's movies are all downhill from here. Hey, they all think Bernie's alive. They're not in on it. Just watch.
Oh man, she was kind of the star of my break until I had the privilege of performing at the Laughing Skull.
Oh yeah,
up in Atlanta with my friend Tone Bell and David Perdue and a bunch of other great comics. And on the way to the Skull, me and my buddies Miles and Chandler picked up
the Bug Man. Miles was the Bug Man.
Yeah, man, we had a good old time with Miles the whole time.
Did you eat at the Vortex before the show? No,
man. We actually shout out to our friend Craig Holzer from the barbecue episode.
Yeah.
He
King's
was
Brothers.
He was he was out of town, but we went to the restaurant that he works at the Albert, and had some amazing cheeseburgers with pimento cheese.
Yes, I made
pickle chips.
Fried pickle chips.
I made pimento cheese for Christmas, and it was a big hit.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then I had the Brussels sprouts that they brought out. Had like a shit ton of bacon and blue cheese crumbles in them, and so I've been trying to recreate those.
That's a better choice because the Vortex is gotten to the point where it's just comedic.
Yeah,
where it's just like it's a parody of itself.
There is a comedy club there.
Yeah, well, it's a parody of itself, where it's just like one of those places where it's just like it always predicated itself on we got the funny menu, and if you don't like what you're getting, get the hell out.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm so picky about Atlanta.
I know where it's just like
don't go little 5 points.
Yeah, well, but they use it.
I mean, the 90s.
Their burgers are fine. Their burgers are all right. But since I'd left, they kind of made it their mission to make the most ridiculous like burgers that are just like this burger's gonna kill you. Where it's just like check it out. 2 burgers. It's got to be rare. If it's you ask for medium rare, get out and. Block of lard, block of lard wrapped in bacon.
The Vortex is a wonderful place because you can smoke.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big plus.
I don't care if they could be serving shit on a fucking plate with vegan shit on top of it. And if you can smoke there, I do not give a shit.
But but anyway, we went to the Albert and had a fucking hell of a meal.
Oh, which one do we go to?
The burger, the first burger.
The burger,
place.
yeah. And then we went to the Vortex,
and then the Vortex is where the show.
I showed up in this store somewhere, so I think we missed that actual point.
No, I said we picked you up from the airport and then went to the Albert. And,
and we had the fried pickle chips. And then we went to the Vortex and smoked.
Yeah.
And then you went on in the Laughing Skull, which was a hell of a good place.
Yeah.
Hell of a good place.
I've heard it's a fantastic club.
It is.
That was the first time you'd been over there, right?
Yeah.
Great club. One of my favorite places to perform at. And then after a long trip home, made it back to Auburn and
slept.
We're
getting the blow by blow, but then we got out of bed to deliver the lead the next day.
That's right.
Oh man.
Oh my God. So last year, I mean, the past like 2 years, Yellowhammer has been plagued by huge, out of control
weather disasters, and
thunderstorms,
tornadoes,
cyclones. Yeah, it just everything's trying to stop this show. This year, beautiful out.
Yeah, it was very peaceful.
It was perfect weather, and we finally, after getting rained out last year, this year got to more than make up for it. Went to the Uchi Range in Tuskegee National Forest, and man, just shot holes in trash for
we shot holes in boxes and bowls and coolers were flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Once again, if the Auburn area is ever invaded by garbage from a foreign country, you get us together.
If the Pacific garbage patch becomes sentient like Godzilla.
Yeah, Trashlantis.
Trashlantis rises against us, then we got this.
Rivers had his the crow gun.
Yeah. So we were walking out the door to go to the gun range. I had my pistol, and as we were walking out the door, my dad was just like, hey, by the way, I have a double barrel shotgun sitting in the back of the closet.
Yeah, an old Savage Model B side by side.
Yeah, which I knew about that gun, but I'd never attempted to shoot it. Nor because my dad has like hunting rifles and stuff, but I've never asked to, because that's his stuff. So I don't ask. And so I just assumed I knew that gun was back there, but I just assumed it was off limits. And then literally as I'm walking out the door, he's like, oh, if you want to try it out, I haven't shot it in about 30 years, but you can give it a try. And I was like, oh, sweet, we got 12 gauge, let's do this. So
I'll tell you this, that was a sexy gun because on the ride over, I was just starting to get a notion with that thing.
It was nice. It's side by side, double barrel. 12 gauge.
We gave it both barrels a couple of times.
Yeah.
Out there.
My granddad referred to the double barrel shotgun as his crow gun because he would just see it. I don't think he used it for anything except standing on the porch and firing it off when there were too many crows in the garden.
I kind of want to go with y'all to the range.
I've
never shot a gun before. Sorry, but I'd like to watch y'all shoot guns, and then maybe I could just fire arrows errantly.
Oh, shooting guns and having fun. We found out, by the way, on this trip, neighbor Frank.
Yeah.
Neighbor Frank is actually pretty good with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that cryptic tweet of yours that said archery at night is a bad idea.
Yeah, well, have you ever seen the episode of Sanford where they fire a musket off in their place in their junkyard and they think it went through the neighbor's window and killed him? Well, I fired an arrow off in the yard at night, and I learned right away that that's not a good idea.
Oh, God. Did it go through a window?
No, it didn't. But the next morning, I was very relieved after I hit it.
You found it?
Yeah, because I didn't want to see it sticking in that swing set in the neighbor's yard.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We shot guns. We had fun.
The funny thing about like the gun range out there is that how lawless it is. And yet from chaos... Order.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like America, really. It's people just doing what they want to do, you understand?
Yeah.
Without the intervention of unnecessary rules, but policing themselves for the community. You know what I'm saying?
But we were literally shooting just boxes and trash and bottles and all kinds of shit. And then as soon as somebody says, hey, can we go cold? Which means everybody stops shooting. We were like, yeah. And then we go out and we look at our holes that we made in our trash, and
so far nobody's got killed yet.
Yeah, not that I know of.
You remember last year they had the pretend ranger?
Oh, year before last. Yeah.
The old guy that just hangs around, and
there's some guy who's just marshaled himself. Being the range master.
There's at any kind of range, there is that guy that kind of deputizes himself. It doesn't matter if it's a shooting range or an archery range or a golf driving range. The golf driving range is my personal favorite, Marshall.
Well, there even used to be a Bemu.
Just use your hips. Just swing with your hips a little bit.
Yeah, it's just some old guy walking.
He just comes up and grabs you by the hips.
Yeah, it's just like some 75-year-old guy and walking around on the concrete with golf shoes, just like
clop, clop,
clop, clop, clop. It's like, well, you can't use your driver up on the second floor. Yeah, top floor's irons only.
What did we do? Oh,
I blew up a lot of shit with the shotgun. I remember that.
So much fun. That shotgun was great.
It was. Actually, Rivers, you still have that thing, don't you?
Well, back in.
Well, let's thank your folks for that.
Yeah.
For that shotgun
for sure. Yeah.
And give them a shout out.
Yeah. Shout out to Bob and Gail. Thanks for letting me use the old
crow gun.
The old crow gun.
Crow gun.
But then we made our way up to Birmingham that afternoon. Like, and I'm gonna fall asleep at a table at a Waffle House later in this story, and I just want to let you guys know, like, Yellowhammer Day is the longest day of my year, pretty much, because we wake up as early as we can, we go shooting, we have a big lunch, we travel all the way to Birmingham, we have a big show that I have to run, and then after the show, we're hanging out, and then Waffle House happens at the very end. It's a long fucking day. So we make our way up to Birmingham, and then the show was fucking great.
Yeah. And let's not forget the food.
The food.
Too.
Shout out to Nick Packus and his whole crew. Holy shit. It was amazing.
That mac and cheese was drawing raves this year.
Lord, yeah. Every year it's amazing. This year the food at Yellowhammered was fantastic.
Yeah.
They had pork and garbanzo bean stew. And then they had beef short rib sliders and a shit ton of fried chicken, which, it felt like a low point, but in hindsight, I'm so glad I did this. As I was leaving, Nick was like, hey, man, there's a ton of fried chicken left, so if you want to grab some. And I was like, oh, do you have, like, to-go boxes? Because last year they had the clamshells, and I took a bunch of them home. He's like, no, we just got plates. You could just, take 2 plates and squeeze
Stack them, yeah.
Stack them. And I was like, I'm going to need more chicken than that. And fortunately, there was a roll of garbage bags right next to the thing.
Bag of chicken, yeah.
So I filled up a garbage bag full of fried chicken and walked out. And fortunately, I only ran into like one person that I respect on the way out, where I just had to, it was actually David Perdue, who he got it. I walked by him and I was like, hey, man, I was like, yeah, I'm taking a big bag of chicken in my car.
Chicken?
Yeah, I'm taking
David Perdue, you mean the senator from Georgia?
No, well, he's from Georgia. He's a comedian from Atlanta. If you guys haven't checked him out, man, David Perdue, look him up.
But that's a completely reputable way to carry fried chicken. Like, I think so.
Yeah.
And the way you go to smuggle food, you smuggle it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me. I mean, there's people that do kind of look down on the idea of using like grocery bags as like a briefcase or something like that, or as luggage. I'm not above that sort of thing. Unless you're flying, then it's cool.
I'm not above it flying. I had to buy luggage for the first time when I went on a plane because I would have had trash bags. I guarantee you that.
So I got to shout out to the Grindle brothers.
Grindle brothers.
Our Who's Your Friends?
Oh man! So our buddies, couple of listeners to this very podcast came from Indiana to see me and Mr. Goodnight at this show, and because the show was long. It was real long, and then I ended up talking to these guys, and they were like, "Yeah, we were so glad this was such a long show."
Well, I mean, they drove long enough for
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And
so,
they got the food, too.
Yeah, the food was good, and and we got to hang out with a couple of people who listened to the show. Went to their they got an Airbnb like right next to the venue.
It was a nice place, too.
God, such a nice place. Went and hung out on the balcony, and
Gira was there, and we hang out with our Who's Your Friends, and we had a damn good time. I don't remember too much of it. I remember we went to that place where there was pool.
Yeah, we went to the Plaza Underground, and then we found a hotel because we hadn't done that at this point. So I wanted to be kind of on the Auburn side of town.
Hotel.
I drove out to Highway 280 near Hoover.
Well, there was a bunch of us then, too, because Frank and Geary had joined us.
Yeah. Gary, neighbor Frank from many past episodes, Geary from our action figures episode. So we had company at that point.
I like how the Grindle Bros, and I'm going to say this authoritatively because I wasn't there, they were surprised that neighbor Frank was a real person.
It was funny because at one point we were standing in a circle, and I realized almost everybody in the circle has
been on the damn show.
Been on the show.
And other people on Yellowhammer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you got to meet the whole show.
Right. Yeah, somehow
the whole universe, really.
Right.
All you need...
Little Goods in the Woods universe.
Yeah, except for me, which is,
That's true. People they keep missing Pat. Somebody has got to get all three of them together.
Yeah.
And the whole trifecta.
But yeah, and also I wanted to shout out their folks' business, Mike's Magic Body and Paint Repair in Marion, Indiana. So
if you're in Marion, Indiana, you want body repair, you want paint repair, you want custom things done with your car that's crazy shit and it's good shit.
Custom vans.
Yeah, custom vans. #1 in Indiana, #1 in our hearts, #1 in the world. So you go there now and you tell them that Mr. Goodnight sent you.
That's
and
right.
you really show the attitude of gratitude when you're there because they have a car that looks like a jet fighter.
Yes, on the business card is the owners of the store chilling in a custom car that they built that looks like an F-14.
Yeah.
With no wings that drives.
And we thoroughly invite them to use Mr. Goodnight's rant as a radio bumper if they so choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they go up on the radio, like all that, and if there's any nice Hoosier girls that want to know the man behind the voice, you write to me, you understand? But, and write to the show.
We finally get our hotel.
Was it a Red Roof Inn?
No, I think it was a Quality Inn or
Quality Inn, baby.
Some such nonsense. But the great thing about Alabama is we get our hotel, and then we're like, well, Waffle House? And I looked it up on my phone, 0.1 miles away.
Yeah.
Bingo. So we go to the Waffle House, and
we learned a new definition of what constitutes coffee.
This was our waitress was real strange.
Yeah,
Like,
that happens a lot in the Waffle House, though, to be fair.
This was the strangest waitress I think I've ever had. Because she was almost doing things so by the book as to like show how ridiculous their policies were. I think like she was the McNulty of of Waffle House, where like at one point I asked for a cup of coffee, and she poured the coffee to me, and Gary ordered a coffee as well, and she puts the two coffees in front of us, and I looked at them, and you could see the bottom of the cup. Like the coffee was that diluted.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that she poured literally 8 fluid ounces in there.
No.
She's just like, you want a cup of coffee?
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's weirder than that too. So she poured 2 cups of coffee, and they were like, they almost looked like tea or something.
Yeah.
They were basically clear cups of coffee, and me and Gary both looked at them. And then she stood there and watched us look at them.
I was on the other end of the table, too, and I'd never seen people more puzzled by a cup of coffee.
It was bizarre. I was like, what the fuck is this? It looked like hot tea, and I was looking at it, and then Gary was looking at it, and then we both kind of looked up at her, she hadn't moved. She was just staring at us, waiting for us to react to this shitty coffee. And she goes, is it because it's clear? And I'm like, yeah, like before I even like raised a complaint, I just like gave her like a weird look, and she's like, "Is it because it's see-through?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why is that?" And she's just like, "New Waffle House policy: if you want coffee that's black, you gotta order the dark roast. This is the regular roast." And I was like, "Give me the fucking dark roast!" Like,
what is it like?
Was a prank or something?
It was.
Shit.
If it was a prank,
is like the light roast like little kid cup of tea where it's just like the empty cup of tea where it's just like teddy bear tea or something.
But it was weird because she knew it was fucked up, and she served it to us in order that we, react.
It was almost like if the lady from Mama's Family was a Waffle House waitress.
It was so strange. It was so fucking strange. And she finally brought us the right kind of coffee.
She was really strange the whole night, and Frank was strange too because remember he kept talking about mad about you and in a really really obsessive way.
Frank kept asking questions that involved, or they were would you rather questions that involved something awful or writing episode by episode reviews of Mad About You. That was always the would you rather this or write reviews of Mad About You.
My friend Matt Buckner, who's an incredibly funny guy, used to do the would you rather, but his was always Jimmy Eat World, where it was just like would you rather be a pumpkin that gets like groped and assaulted by a giant Santa Claus every night, or would you rather be a roadie for Jimmy Eat World?
This was essentially along those lines.
Yeah. But they all had to do with Mad About You.
They all do with Mad About You. And at this point, it was like 4 in the morning or something like that.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Y'all were exhausted. I was really, really fucking stoned.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was, the other weird thing. So Gear and I get the right kind of coffee. We put our creams and sugars in there, and we start. I took maybe 2 sips, and this waitress runs from across the restaurant and takes the 2 cups of coffee, and she goes, "The creams were stored improperly." And just takes them, like whisks our 2 cups of coffee away, and then comes back immediately with 2 now, just like the way it's supposed to be, 2 new coffees.
Did you put cream in your coffee, or
I'm like Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction, baby. Lots of cream, lots of sugar.
Pervert.
But but anyway, she like took away our coffees and brought back with like the correctly stored cream, and then like went off and started yelling at her line cook.
Really bizarre. It was really bizarre.
It was weird.
But again, Waffle House, you get a lot of weird service and things like that.
Yeah.
And everybody always wants to talk to you up in there too.
Yeah. But we finally get our check, and at that point, I looked at my check, and then I kind of like put it up to my forehead and fell asleep on my arm like that. And then I think you woke me up. You're like, "You okay?" And I was like, So I basically fell asleep on my own hand at the Waffle House.
Yeah. Eventually, we went back, and then actually all of us who weren't Rivers went out again, and we met Bubba.
The weird crackhead outside.
Yeah, the crackhead who kept knocking on the door.
Yeah. Oh my God.
His name was tattooed up over his stomach. That said Bubba. So that's
And he wasn't wearing a shirt, I imagine.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No.
There was a meth head for real named Bubba, and you guys went back out to get smokes, right?
Or smokes and I think ice or something Frank wanted like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went in the hotel room just immediately. Well, and as they were leaving, some meth head came out of the bushes named Bubba, and
because that was tattooed up on his stomach.
Yeah.
and they left to go get ice. And I was just as I was falling asleep, I just hear, and I was like, "Fuck that," because I knew they'd already left. I was like, "I'm not." No fucking way am I answering that shit. And
And you were asleep by the time I got back.
And I fell asleep.
He slept through a meth head attack.
Yeah.
That is.
What was he knocking on the door for? Like,
I think that because we checked in abnormally late, we were checking into a hotel like 3 or 4 in the morning. I think he thought in his meth head mind that we were there to steal his meth shit or whatever the fuck these people do.
Oh, I thought it was just like that you were kind of the...
There to party?
There to party, yeah.
Oh, maybe that was it. But he was pretty aggressive for somebody who wanted to party with us.
Yeah, he was pretty insistent.
Well, if we were walking around in December without a shirt on.
Well, to be fair, it was
you're
warm
pretty
that
aggressive
night.
for partying, you know.
Yeah, but the night was. Remember, we talked about the weather. The night was very, very nice.
But yeah, so that was
that was anticlimactic. I thought there was going to be something. He had some pearls of wisdom, or
no, he just kept saying, "You all right? You all right? You all right?"
Because usually when it's those kind of guys, they always like find things and they want you to show them off and have you explain them first. Like, check this out. I found this thing. Check it out. What is this? It's like, oh, it's a ratchet that you don't need. It's universal. You don't need it. Oh, man, that's cool. How much you think I can get for that sort of thing? Like, it's usually one of those kind of conversations.
But he wasn't.
They can get $5 for this.
He wasn't a very good meth head.
Okay, yeah.
He was clearly like a rank amateur at this shit. I mean, he still had some of his teeth to begin with.
Y'all check this out. I found this. They always scavenge and find like things, and sometimes the stuff is actually cool, but usually it's just check this out. What is this? And it's just like, oh, it's a light bulb changer, one of those telescoping light bulb changers. Oh man. How much do you think I get for this?
We went to my.
Give me a ride.
Yeah.
That's how it always ends. Think I get a ride?
And we went to Milo's on the way out.
Oh yeah, I always have to go to Milo's when I'm down there. Frank got a Coke.
Yeah,
to the disdain of all.
And offended in the land of sweet tea.
Well, he's got to have something to go with his rolls. Come on,
that is true. That is true.
And then we had Christmas, and then the day after Christmas, came back to Birmingham.
Yeah, for the Nick Thomas joint.
I have to with Nick's permission. I have some audio that I need to play.
I love this.
I had a damn good time that night.
It angers me that Nick Thomas doesn't live in L.A. because this guy he's a national treasure, and I don't say that loosely,
dude. So we did the show at the Syndicate Lounge, which is a really cool venue that I'd actually never been to before. So shout out to Chris Ivey and all the people that make that shit happen, because the Birmingham comedy scene is awesome at the moment. But Nick wanted to. Well, when we got there, like I think Nick had a bunch of different things planned, but then the crowd that showed up was a little different than he'd anticipated. So when I first got there, he was just like, "Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna do all the stuff I had planned." I was like, "What did you have planned, Nick?" He was like, "Well, I was gonna do whippets." I was like, "What?" I was like, "You got to do whippets." So after the show was over, Goodnight went on last, and after his set,
I heard it was a pretty rough set.
Well, rough? No, I had a damn good time that night.
Yeah, it was. There were some talkative people that you were fighting with a little bit, but overall it was fine.
Oh, I was having fun with that. They loved me.
Yeah, those drunk girls up front.
Yeah, they liked me. If you're listening, honey,
Hey, drunk girls, you're great.
No, they were great. They really were.
But yeah, this was the end of the show.
Poppers, but I couldn't find any, so I found some whippets. You want to see me do stand up on whippets? Some of you don't, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna see if I can remember what I said. I haven't done this since high school. Okay, here we go.
That's a long one.
Hello? Okay, I went to Burger King the other day and holy shit. You know how during Halloween a couple of years ago they had that burger that had the black bun and it turned everybody's shit green?
It did.
Yeah, I never had that, but I had the rodeo burger. I just turned my shit into a cowboy hat and a lasso.
God, he butchered that.
It's fucking weird. I'm gonna go. Thanks.
He butchered that punchline so hard.
He did, but he was on with it.
Yeah, dude, that is insane. Like the one time.
The thing I love is that, first of all, he said I got whippets. And at first I was like, when I saw the video, I was like, oh, I thought he's going to get a cracker and a balloon. He's got canisters. No, he just got a can of Ready Whip.
Yeah, he got the Ready Whip.
He got it at the Publix.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then he did the classic like whip it thing where his voice gets really deep at first, like hello. Oh.
I think my favorite little piece is when he's doing the actual whippets. This moment right here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit.
Oh my God.
That dude is the best. Find it, oh man, on Twitter.
Hello. With it's the 6 seconds of euphoria.
Yeah.
And then he just can't figure out what's going on after that.
Yeah, on Twitter, find that man in Thomas.
Well,
for real.
the thing that I loved was at the beginning he was like, originally I was going to do poppers.
Yes, that's right. He told me he was trying to find poppers, but the only place he could find them was at the gay sex store. And also, we talked about we talked about this in the car on the ride back from the airport. Like, poppers just open up all your blood vessels, so you just have a loose butthole and a rock hard dick. Like, that's all they do.
I have that shit all the time anyway.
But what would be good about doing stand up on poppers?
I know.
I have no idea.
I mean, especially
one thing about standing up.
I mean, you have to have a special wardrobe for that. You have to have some
sweatpants and a diaper,
or garbage bag,
kind of like a buttless sweatpants or something.
I think they call that a Forever Lazy. If you remember that product, it was the follow up to the Snuggie. It was just pajama pants with a butt flap.
A union suit. Yeah,
it was a union suit. But it was
you need a union. You need a loose union suit for that bit. And then he gave a guy a Stone Cold Stunner to no pop.
Oh, to me, yeah. So my intro right before I went up, there were already people in the crowd like heckling and just like causing fucking problems, and he had a plant in the audience that he brought up on stage and then gave a Stone Cold Stunner. And I don't think, because there had already been people in the crowd kind of like talking and bullshitting, I don't think the crowd knew that he was a plant, and I don't think they knew enough about wrestling to be like, oh, that's a Stone Cold Stunner. So like you just heard the thud just on the stage to nothing, and people were just like
if I want to editorialize a little bit,
and then ladies and gentlemen, Rivers Langley, and then I just had to walk out like,
All right, to be fair though, this was a really fun night.
Oh, I'm not shitting on it. I'm celebrating.
The whole thing went a lot better, I think, than it sounds here.
No, I loved it. I had a great time.
I think that, not to play Judy Carter or anything like that, to give the stand up rules.
She's the judge?
No, she's the one that does the stand up book.
Oh, okay.
Nick Thomas, if you're going to do this again, do the Stone Cold Stunner, but you got to follow it up with a people's elbow if you want to have pure comedic effect. Because the thing is that there's no ropes, so you're going to have to run all the way around the stage or run back and forth.
And bounce off imaginary
ropes and then do all this stuff. That's the thing you got to do. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
The people's elbow.
Come on. Or at least break open some like bush lights and have the effect of the Stone Cold Stunner.
But yeah, great time of that show. And then afterwards went to Al's one last time. Al's Deli is closing down in Birmingham.
Yeah, but then I heard it wasn't.
I heard it is again now. So
make up your minds, Al's Deli in Birmingham.
Apparently they bought the whole block. The whole block is about to be demolished. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a Birmingham
they had
institution.
a good gyro too.
Dude, that gyro is so good there. Oh man. But yeah, that was our Christmas. Did you what was your did you have a favorite moment? Good night.
When I shot that thing with the shotgun and it blew up.
Oh yeah, you had that crazy shot.
Yeah, I was aiming for 2 pieces of garbage at once, 2 of the boxes with the double barrel, and I hit them both in the middle, and somehow this huge puff of smoke and fire came out of it.
It was like an incendiary round or something.
I think the wood that we were using to light to keep the the thing down might have ignited on that one.
Yeah, something happened, but yeah, two 12 gauge shots at once, and then it basically was like a little mini explosion.
This might sound sad, but I think that actually might have been the highlight of my life.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, those sorts of things are magical. I'm like my best friend from growing up came for Christmas, him and his girlfriend, and we talked at length about one time he ran into a construction garbage can in his Ford Explorer, and it shot upwards as opposed to outwards, defying physics, and then it shot upwards and just exploded with like white water from the drywall that was in there. And that's something that like defines you, really.
That is
that sort
whenever
of thing.
you can blow something up, you know that you can have the attitude of gratitude because you can be grateful that you ever lived in the first place.
Birmingham, the greatest city in Alabama. You can travel across this entire land. There ain't no place like Birmingham.
So we're going to do some Dear Mr. Goodnight.
Dear Mr. Goodnight.
Because we got some write-ins.
We got a bunch of write-ins today. I guess I'm going to start off with this. Oh, man. I got a three-part question from our friend Matt Watkins, at Watkins a Go-Go.
Dear Mr. Goodnight.
Dear Mr. Goodnight. I have to imagine there's an alternate timeline where you're the top dog manager in a professional wrestling territory or a major promotion. I'm curious as to who, time not playing a factor, would be your stable of talent.
Okay, that's a good question. I probably want Terry Funk up in there. I might want Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen up in there as part of my stable here.
This is an ugly stable.
It's an ugly,
but this stable,
This
stable is going to destroy people and kick ass. I want the Honky Tonk Man. I want Eric Embry. I want Killer Kyle Cox.
This is just the ugliest people.
The ugliest people I can possibly find.
Hey man, a Honky Tonk Man's a good looking dude.
He's at least well groomed.
He's cool. He's cocky. He's bad. And I want Austin Idol.
That's a big stable.
It is. But, it's like Jimmy Hart's first family.
Yeah, but you got to have some, like, total dork that's, like, the bottom guy.
That's why I had the Honky Tonk Man.
I would say you got to have somebody, like, even more of a... Because you got to have, like...
A Barry Horowitz or something like that.
I mean, like, Paul Jones' Army had Pistol Pez Watley hanging around.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you got to have the person that's the first level... like kind of person that if somebody's trying to rise through your stable.
Gary Young.
Gary
Young.
Second question, can you pinpoint the moment when country music went off the rails?
The song My Baby is American Made, born and raised in the USA, from her pretty blonde hair to her sexy long legs. My baby is American made. When they could talk about things like sexy long legs and things in a country song and it wouldn't bother the old people anymore like that.
Oh, the Oak Ridge Boys.
Oak Ridge Boys.
I hate this song.
Ugh.
I heard this first in the middle of the 80s, and I was like, what the hell has happened to this country that this is now called country music?
This just
Is this
sounds-
Chicago?
Oh, God.
See, it's the rock and roll ethos infecting country music like a virus and making it about stupid, albeit enjoyable things, but done in such a vulgar way.
My video games. Oh yeah, and this was at the heart of like Japanese panic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Japan's going to buy the entire country.
Oh, here's the chorus.
I miss those days.
Oh boy, this song is going to ring out above Republican national conventions from here until eternity. Jesus.
And it's so trashy and AM rock sounding too.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird songs, this is kind of a tangent, but my favorite part of the entire Christmas break was my mother trying to convince me that at Christmas time at Kohl's, she heard the Wesley Willis song Rock and Roll McDonald's playing through the loudspeaker, which makes no sense.
I don't rock and roll McDonald's.
Like Wesley Willis.
Wesley Willis.
Yeah.
Is that the guy in those movies?
No, the guy that's like, McDonald's is the place to rock. You know, like rock over London, rock on Chicago, Diet Pepsi. That guy.
Oh yeah.
My mother was convinced she heard this at Kohl's.
Kohl's.
McDonald's will make you fat. They serve Big Macs.
They serve quarter pounders with cheese.
They will put
Pounds on you. I love the part where he says a Big Mac has 26 grams of fat.
A quarter pounder with cheese.
Has 24 grams of fat.
While I was reading the nutritional.
The last question from Matt: ass, gas, or grass?
Well, nobody rides for free.
Yep.
But number one is always ass, because ass, you got to take it. I won't sound like a pen now, but you got to take ass when it comes. You understand?
Okay.
Because when you a kind of man like me that likes to live the bachelor lifestyle, you get it when you pig out when the slop's handy. You understand? Otherwise, grass, because gas causes wars.
Yes.
And grass is pretty good a lot of the time.
But ass causes wars too. Come on, the Trojan War.
Yeah, I know, but that war also inspired great things like the Iliad.
Could you stop this rock and roll McDonald's thing? It's scaring the hell out of me. It's just this clips of Mac and me and a bunch of like stylish Japanese people dressed like Ronald McDonald. I don't want to see this.
Mac and Me is a scary damn film.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary.
This one is from our friend JB at Dirty Southworth. Dear Mr. Goodnight, who would win between Batman and Rambo?
Oh, Rambo would kick his ass. Batman doesn't use a gun, because if he used a gun, he'd say, why come I'm running around in a Halloween costume with a boomerang all these years? So Rambo would blow Batman to bits.
Yeah.
I don't care how many nuclear reactors they give him in these new movies or the new Batmobile. Or Rambo takes on entire armies with a bow and arrow.
He beat the entire Russian army.
Yeah.
He beat the entire Russian army. Then he went over to Afghanistan.
That's what I mean, on behalf of the Mujahideen.
Yeah, and Vietnam. Well, that was, things were different back then. They were freedom fighters in those.
But the only thing he couldn't conquer was the VA.
No, because that's the thing. You can never get over your demons, and that's really what Rambo was about.
I mean, you can beat any army, but you can't beat bureaucracy, because it's the iron cage of domination, if you will.
That's true. There you go.
So this one's from Matt Grindle, actually, our buddy from
yeah, Matt and Big Brother, Matt's big brother
at Deuterial on Twitter. Dear Mr. Goodnight, what is your favorite Civil War general, or who's your favorite Civil War general / battle?
Okay, my favorite Civil War general is my favorite general and historical figure of all time, who is George Armstrong Custer, because he led charges in person and killed people with swords and wore the best uniform and had the best damn hairdo of any general that's ever lived, and he had a pornographic video game made about him. So Custer is number one when it comes to generals. And, call me a little bit of a dork on this, but when it comes to Civil War battles, I've always really been partial to Peninsula Peninsula Campaign.
Oh, yeah?
And there's not many people say that one, because that one was kind of early in the war and unusual, but I like it.
Is that the one where
McClellan tries to end the war in 1962 by doing this like siege on Richmond, but then Lee ends up taking charge and beating him back in
McClellan,
the
you goofball.
I know, and you didn't win the election either.
you moved to France.
Yeah, loser.
I know, McClellan.
I thought so. Are there any other ones that you would give a shout out to, like honorable mentions? Because obviously,
Civil War battles. Oh,
no. I mean, I'm talking generals, because Custer obviously was going to be.
I like Jeb Stuart too, because he's another very well dressed general, and I used to actually live near the Jeb Stuart statue at the end of Monument Ave.
Yeah.
When I was in Richmond, I could go outside and smoke a cigarette and take a look at Jeb Stuart every night, which was actually a good thing.
Oh, we drove past the first White House of the Confederacy, and
in Montgomery. I prefer the Richmond one, but that's me.
Yeah. Okay, this one's from our friend Andrew at Drew Joker Ingram. Dear Mr. Goodnight, what is the cuisine like in the fourth dimension, and could Rivers whip up a taste of home for you?
Oh, Rivers can whip up a taste of home anywhere, you understand? Because when he makes his pie, which is so royally robbed by KCRW this year, you understand what puts the passion in passion fruit. Now, Dan, what kind of food is there in the fourth dimension? Mr. Goodnight is programmed to live on Slim Jims, iced tea, and cigarettes. So there's a lot of that up in there, and sometimes there's some peanuts too and some Coke.
Okay. Oh, this is from at those meddling kids.
Oh, Scooby-Doo, writing to me. Hey, is Daphne on board there? Or?
I think it's just our buddy out in Rancho. Dear Mr. Goodnight, left Twix or right Twix?
Left.
Okay.
No particular reason. That's just the one I tend to grab first. You understand? But I will say this about Twix, though. There used to be 4 flavors. Remember this?
There was what?
Regular peanut butter, cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
Whoa.
And fudge.
Oh, I don't
Fudge was great.
Yeah.
I like the fudge one.
I liked them all better than the regular one. But now you can only still get peanut butter, but they changed the peanut butter because now the cookie in it is chocolate.
Cookie.
Whereas it used to be the same as Twix, only with the peanut butter instead of the caramel.
Damn, I don't even remember that. I remember when they reintroduced peanut butter Twix and they sent a box to the radio station that I worked at. And
really, you got Twix at your college radio station?
Yeah,
we just got a bunch of like Jason Mraz CDs.
No, I mean we got the CDs too, but then they also just sent us a box of Twix, and me and my buddy Chandler ate there and sat there and ate all of them.
So this is payola, essentially.
It was payola. Yeah, me and you met Chandler. He ate with us at the Albert. The short guy with the glasses.
Yeah, nice dude.
Yeah,
nice dude.
That's my old radio.
I've got
co-host.
I got 2 for Mr. Goodnight. David Krasniewski, one of our favorite fans.
Yes.
What is it about ancient Greek / Roman history that you love so much? Favorite person / story, or your favorite god, if you will, / person / story. Thanks. # gratitude.
Oh, the attitude of gratitude, you understand? With gratitude, like when you get your own pepperoni pizza all to yourself. Now, Dan, the Greeks and the Romans have showed us a model for society, for intellectual life, for statecraft, and definitely for the Romans, the people who, through their organization and through the strength of their republic and their strength as a warrior people, were able to dominate the entire damn world. And they're the only people that ever conquered the world and made everybody want to be conquered with them, because for the next 1,000 years, everybody was still trying to get back to what Rome used to be, you understand? So the Romans, for my money, were the greatest people who ever lived. The Greeks were the greatest intellectual people that ever lived. Now, Dan, favorite event or something like that?
Favorite figure.
I don't like Xenophon that much personally, but the story of him and the 10,000 mercenaries that went over into Persia.
Yeah.
That's always a ripping good tale.
And that's what they turned into the Warriors, right?
Yeah, the Warriors is basically, it's about Xenophon's march back to the sea.
And then the guy they kill at the beginning is Cyrus.
Right? Yeah.
So
they were fighting in a Persian, they were Greek mercenaries that were part of a Persian dynastic war.
Yeah.
See, my favorite is Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix, they used to say I looked like him.
Really?
And the Gaul.
Yeah.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, he was pretty close. He's pretty close to thwarting them Romans.
Yeah.
And thwarting Caesar.
Yeah.
Keeping the Gallic lands to himself.
Yeah, but Caesar knows, you understand, divide and conquer. You understand? So Caesar once again, shows what's great about the Romans. Indefatigable in war, but always willing to offer that olive branch in peace. You understand? Yeah. You look at, like I say, the res gestae of the divine Augustus's funeral inscription, and it says, "I wage war on my enemies, civil and foreign, on the land and the earth and the sea. And when possible, I offered them clemency after I'd soundly beat their asses."
Yeah. Well, because Caesar was all about, much like the mob, it was a series of favors that he got through clemency, right?
Well, yeah. Well, Caesar, I mean, the mob keeps a lot of that classical thing. There's a lot of smart things you can learn from all that stuff like that. Jesus said, "Love your neighbors," but it was Mr. Goodnight who said, "Pretend to love your neighbors. That way, when they die mysteriously, no one will ever suspect it's you." And again, you can learn a lot of that from looking at the way the Romans do things and the way the mafia did things, which is based off the Romans.
And then the last one.
Oh, wait, I just got one.
Oh,
too.
okay.
This is from at Real Big Tink, my buddy Tink Edwards.
I like that. Big Tink.
Big
Daddy Tink.
He says, "Dear Mr. Goodnight, what's your favorite NES wrestling game?"
Actually, the WCW one is good.
Yeah.
But I've always been a fan of Tecmo World Wrestling. Have you ever played that one?
I thought you were going to say World Championship Wrestling.
Well, that's the
best music by far.
That's pro wrestling, the one that everybody thinks of with Starman and all those. And
King Karn Corn,
Amazon and all that was like that.
Whoever the David Von Erich equivalent one is, not King Slender, but Golden Pancake or something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. Golden Flake. I don't know.
We enjoyed a lot of Golden Flake.
The pickle barbecue chips.
Yeah,
baby.
but Tecmo World Wrestling, I wasn't a huge fan of personally.
It was big around our parts because you could change the names for the characters.
Yeah.
So basically, you could just type in whoever you wanted and pretend it was whatever you wanted.
Yeah, mine would personally be World Championship Wrestling because it had like
that was my number 2.
Yeah. And you could play as a myriad of amazing NWA.
Who was? Did you do tag team tournament?
Yes.
Who are you guys? Who are you two guys?
Mine were Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Mike Rotunda. And I would pretend I was Mike Rotunda because he was the one that looked the most like me because he had the brown hair and stuff.
I also
he had the little briefcase you carried around.
This
was
the varsity club.
Yeah, it was the brown hair, and he had no facial hair, right? Because that was big on the facial hair with that one. I love how Eddie Gilbert wrestles in sunglasses on that game, which is always a good move. Ask Mr. Hughes.
But I would use Mike Rotundo as well, and Michael Hayes.
Michael Hayes was always good
because I wanted to get a Freebirds, but I couldn't get it, so I was like, well, shit, Freebirds plus Rotundo, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So the last one is let me read this off. Hey, cabron, why you stealing my act? Get your own shtick. And that's at Senor Buenos Noches.
Yeah, I thought this was that asshole. All right. If you ever seen the Patty Duke show, you will find that there is a phenomenon in which is known as identical cousins. And this is very rare, but it can happen and cousins can be identical. And I have a cousin out there who is apparently claims to be part Mexican or something like that. And his name is Senor Buenos Noches. And he basically steals all my shit and translates it into Spanish. Like he's, what's his name there? Carlos Mencia of Mr. Goodnight. And he goes out there and with his luchador mask on and all this shit. He showed up in L.A. years ago.
Yeah.
And he comes by talking shit. I tell you something.
He was writing a lot of bad checks from what I
He
gather.
writes lots of bad checks everywhere. He goes up to girls and seduces them thinking that they're me. And then, then they don't want to come back after that one. Because he's terrible at it. But now and then he's a horrible person, and he comes to town every now and then. If he comes to town again, I'm calling him out, and I'm challenging him into a Boogie Street death match somewhere, just between me and him.
Oh, okay, Boogie Street. I thought you meant like a Boogie Woogie Jam death match.
No, not the Boogie Jam death match. The Boogie Street death match.
That's
my Kung Fu versus his Canomble or whatever he picked up there down in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll bring Kabuki there. He can oversee it, and
Kabuki.
Yeah,
some Dragon Shy, and we'll whack the shit out of each other with some kendo sticks. You understand? Only his will be gimmicked, but that's why we'll beat the shit out of you.
Unfortunately, Gary Hart's not around because he is the arbiter of all things in the Boogie Street death match and the Dragon Shy.
Dragon Shy, he was really. People don't realize this, but he was like the FIFA person for like Dragon Shy regulation.
Yeah. He was kind of like the Pete Rozelle of Dragon Shy.
Really good, very good. He really was.
Yeah.
See that there's a 2x4. I can see this right here, and I will smack that some bitch with his. I will smack the phone in Mexican out that some bitch. You
understand? We actually do have one more. This is from our friend Boom_Mike85.
Michael Rivera
holding it down in North Carolina. Dear Mr. Goodnight, I've lived in the North, the West, and the South. The South is the best. Why?
Because the liberal gun ownership laws.
The only thing liberal about the South is the amount of bullets that we use.
Well, there's other liberal things. The helpings of gravy
that's
you get.
True.
Liberal helpings of gravy.
But the good food, the good scenery, the fact that you can own lots of guns, the fact that depending on which part of the South you're in, you're sometimes not too far from a Civil War battlefield. And let's face it, too, the black people make the place boogie, you understand? Because one thing, if you go up too far north, you notice everybody gets white, you understand?
Yeah.
And that's why they ain't got that kind of soul.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, when I'm from, like, where I'm from in Florida, it's southern. Like, people say Florida isn't southern. Florida's southern, unless you get to Miami.
Right.
Or, like, once you get past, like, say... I mean, even around like, the Everglades, there's just pockets,
Yeah.
And a lot of places in Florida are like that very homogenous South, which is the worst kind.
Yeah.
There's God, but it's like, the level of like, when it's homogenous, that's where it's just like, God, it's just like the worst elements.
Yeah. Devoid of regionalism. Just we go Red Lobster.
Yeah. We go Red Lobster. Where's that birth certificate? Just like that sort of thing. Where's that birth certificate? We go to Red Lobster. It's just like, oh, God.
Encroaching sprawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exurban South, I guess it would be called.
Yeah. Right.
But the South still offers, I think there's a lot of people moving down to the South nowadays because it offers in a lot of ways better things to live. Like you can get land and things like that. One of the problems I think in the North is the cities are all getting gentrified and the North loses its culture if it doesn't have its cities like that.
Yeah. Everybody's getting priced
Or it's
out.
going completely the other way, and it's like Hartford, Connecticut, where you just drive up I-95 and it just looks like bombed out.
Yeah. The West is nice too, though, I have to admit.
I do love it on here, though.
Yeah, here in Las Vegas. I mean, that's Goodnight's two twin cities of having a good time.
Well, yeah. If you have questions for Mr. Goodnight, we'll read them on the air. Tweet at us. We're at the Goods Pod,
and we have an offer for all of you.
Yeah.
Yes, you stuck around, so we have an offer for you.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We need iTunes ratings in order to grow the show.
Our listenership is great.
We have great listeners. We hear from a lot of you, and we're always excited about that. But we need iTunes reviews, and I understand it's a pain in the ass, but that's how we grow the show. It really is.
Yeah.
And
because they have an algorithm. See.
Yeah.
And like part of the algorithm is reviews and comments
and listenership. We're good on listenership.
Yeah.
If you get the reviews, then that's cool. But we need the 5 stars plus the comments. So what we're gonna do?
Yeah, because it's the 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong idea, right?
Yes.
When people look at that list, they see the top one. We were in the top 200 for a while. We fell out.
Yeah.
So we have to build it back up.
Getting priced out, you understand?
Yeah,
by bigger competitors.
Podcast One is pricing out independent.
There's a lot of damn
podcasting.
Y'all want to help the little guy out there. Y'all want to show that attitude of gratitude.
Yeah,
and it's not that damn.
And people look at the new and noteworthy, and they find their podcast, and that's the way you want to get on. The ratings help out a lot. So we have an offer.
So we have an offer. So we talk about the attitude of gratitude. We're going to show it to you guys now. If you write us a review. And it's got to be a 5-star review, and it's got to be on iTunes, and then take a screenshot of the review, send it to us. We're at The Goods Pod on Twitter, facebook.com/thegoodspod, thegoodspod@gmail.com. There's lots of ways to get in touch with us. Take a screenshot of the review, send it to us sometime before February 1st. So this offer is only going to be good through the end of January because we want to get a bunch of reviews before the end of the month just to get us up on the iTunes charts. But send those screenshots to us And if you do that before February 1st, I'll send you a t-shirt.
Yeah.
We have a bunch. I'm looking out of my closet there. We have a big, huge box full of brand new Goods from the Woods t-shirts.
And y'all want to have this t-shirt because this t-shirt there's other shirts out there, but this one kicks maximum ass.
Yeah, our buddy Tom Seiniger.
Of the special a Law and Order SVU episode.
He did the design on it, and he did a fantastic job. I mean, Tom is super duper talented.
You know how we got the design, right? I sent Tom about 5 old school 80s wrestling shirts, and I sent him a picture that we all took here, and I was like, here, just something like this. And it came back so good.
Yeah, this looks like if you opened up a WWF magazine and you wanted that Strike Force t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is like your Strike Force t-shirt. This is like your
Bushwhackers.
There would have been an
t-shirt.
awkward picture of Pat in the magazine wearing this t-shirt.
Or Stephanie McMahon or something like that. Shane McMahon be wearing this. It'd be like a rugged Ronnie Garvin t-shirt.
It's a black t-shirt too, because I know that like if you're like me, I don't white t-shirts to me, those are undershirts. And you're not going to do well advertising a show if you're wearing the shirt underneath your clothes. So I got black t-shirts so people
and you can get pit stains.
Wear them loud and proud. Yeah. And exactly.
Wear it with a blazer, business casual.
Hell yeah.
Like Eddie Van Halen look.
That's right. Yeah.
But we will, and the first few people to get to us, we also have stickers as well.
Yeah, we got a few stickers. Not. I think we have maybe 50 stickers.
Yeah, and we will send it to you. So yeah, it's. Hey, you call it payola, call it what you will, but we have great listeners. We hear from you a lot, and we want to kind of get the word out, you know, and create the kind of Goods from the Woods community, a community of gratitude, if you will.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a bitchin' shirt too, which I'm not going to promise that it'll get you laid, but it'll get you at least a second base.
It'll get you close.
Yeah, but
get you in the neighborhood.
Yeah, give us rate us and write a review.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say
is... by the way, no profanity in it. They comb through those things on iTunes.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, if you write any sort of... they will renege on your rating.
No fucking swearing at all.
Don't write that fucking shit on our goddamned reviews, dickhead. Piss.
And I know, like, if you're listening here and you have an Android, we are asking just for the iTunes reviews.
So Luke Skywalker is going to have to go on to get the Android.
So you'll have to go to the computer, but honestly, like, you could, iTunes is free.
Yeah,
download it. Takes 5 seconds to download. Write the review and then delete
free
it.
T-shirt.
Free T-shirt.
Relive college.
Yeah.
Wear a free T-shirt that looks good and isn't a double entendre.
Yeah, it's a bitchin' shirt because you'll be wearing this thing. People say, I don't know what the fuck that is, but that shit is badass.
Yeah. So the thing is, go on iTunes, either on your iPhone or on your computer. Rate us like a Dave Meltzer rating of Match at the Tokyo Dome. 5 stars. And then write a comment. Let it be as creative as you want it to be.
Yeah. Or as little, like literally, if you just wrote "I love the show," we'd be fucking.
Yeah. And then you take a screenshot. Send the screenshot. Either DM it to the Goods Pod at Twitter. Post it to the Goods Pod at Twitter. Email it to us. Post it on the Facebook page. Message it. Whatever way. Carrier pigeon, direct mail, whatever it be.
Yeah.
And then we'll get your shirt size. We'll send you a shirt. And if you're quick on the draw, we'll send you a sticker as well.
Yeah. So if you have an iPhone, pull it out. There's a little square that says podcast. You click the podcast square. It's purple.
Yeah,
that'll take you to the main screen. You hit search, and in the search bar, you write "The Goods from the Woods."
Yeah.
And then when our show comes up, click on the artwork at the bottom. So I just hit search. At the bottom, will say podcast. Ours will be the first result. Click on it, and then under reviews, you'll hit the reviews tab, and then there's a little purple link that says write a review. Click that bad boy, and you got yourself a T-shirt, baby.
Yeah.
And you will love this shirt too. You will always remember the day that you just took a moment out of your life.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're curious, they are Gildan T-shirts. So if you want to size yourself, it's a Gildan T-shirt.
Yeah, it's Gildan. And also, when I send this thing, it's going to be handwritten. Like I handwritten every address because I don't have a label maker or nothing. So this is as homespun as it gets. So just know we really appreciate any reviews we get, and I'm super stoked to start mailing these babies out
because we have the attitude of gratitude.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, don't fucking write any bad words in our review.
Yeah, swearing is bullshit.
All right, song for the week this week. This is the Explorers Club. The song is called Run, Run, Run. We'll see you next time.
So far away, I think about you every night. All through the day, you're all that's on my mind. So now I've got to try to get back to you some way. Because deep down inside, there's so much I want to say. And I'll run, 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 till I get back to you. Run, 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 do what I have to do. Run, 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 till I get back in your arms again. Out on my own, I found out what you mean to me. I want you to know you're the one I need. So now I've got to try to get back to you some way. Because deep down inside there's so much I want to say. And I'll run, 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 till I get back to you. Run, 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 do what I have to do. Run, 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 till I get back in your arms again. And I'll run, 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 till I get back to you. Run, 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 do what I have to do. Run, 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 till I get back in your arms again. I'll get across the distance somehow. I'm gonna make it to you soon. And I'll run, 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 till I get back to you. Run, 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 do what I have to do. Run, 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 till I get back in your arms again. And I'll run, 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 till I get back to you. Run, 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 do what I have to do. Run, 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 till I get back in your arms again.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.